Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, I Finally Did It. Yesterday at about 2:30 I was shopping at my local smiley face box store. As I usually do, I stop and check their app to figure out what aisle stuff is on since they did a reset a few months ago, and I haven't yet become accustomed to the layout. While standing in the aisle searching the app, I hear a very loud throat-clearing sound. It was at that point I knew I had my opportunity to try a new tactic. We all saw how verbally obscene I have been in the past. This time I was going to play nice. This lady didn't look like the stereotype Karen, she had red highlights and curly hair. Let's call her Kay, and to be open, I'm wearing a green shirt with a Minecraft creeper on it. Kay. Ahem. Excuse me. Hey. No, there were no pauses. Her hand was on her hip, and her head was tilted in that I'm about to go off on you way that Karens get before threatening a manager. Yes? Kay. I've been waiting over here for 10 minutes. I cut her off mid-sentence. I felt a bit cheeky. Me. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry you had to wait. Why didn't you get my attention sooner? Since you're here now, can you check the back for this Homedic foot spa? The app said you have one in stock, but the slot is empty. Kay. You're supposed to be helping me. Me. I am? Well, I guess I can go back with you to check. I'm not exactly sure how that would work, but I'm game. Kay. Excuse me? You're the one who works here. Me. Pretty sure I don't. However, judging by your blue shirt, you're the employee I requested 15 minutes ago. Do you have any idea what it's like to wait that long for an employee? Then have them lie and say they don't work here? Kay. I don't work here, dumbass. What are you even talking about? Me. Well then, why would you come up to a customer who is obviously waiting on somebody and then tell them you had been waiting for their attention for 10 minutes? Kay. I didn't. Me. Yes, you did. Now don't lie to me twice. Do we need to get your manager up here? At this point she lets out the loudest, HMMPH, type of sound and walks out mouthing something under her breath. I continued my shopping and ultimately checked out. Probably the most fun I've ever had diffusing a situation without the use of profanity, and without an actual employee getting involved. The next story is titled, Well, I had to call the cops. Half of my coworkers got stuck at a conference because of the hurricane, so the rest of us have been working ridiculous shifts to cover. Don't mind the overtime, and it couldn't be helped, so it is what it is. Yesterday I worked 12 hours, after having worked 12 the 2 days before, and knowing I'd have another 12 today, last one yay. Honestly, it wasn't horrible, but yeah, I was tired, which is why I did what did in this story. I changed out of my work shirt before I even left the building, so I was wearing jeans and a tie-dye t-shirt when I wandered like a zombie into a fast food place to get something to eat. I get my food and kind of tuck myself into a corner to eat. At one point I hear a bit of commotion but ignore it. As I get up and throw out my trash, I hear an old man say, her. She should be fired. Oh man, crap is going down and I'm nibby, so I look over and the guy is pointing at me with this super angry look on his face. Glance behind me, no one. Oh man, he's definitely pointing at me. He starts yelling about when he was here yesterday and how rude the cashier was and how I messed his order up. I'm half awake and just confused. Look at the manager like, what the duck? And he gives me the scared, apologetic, I have no idea, look. Old guy still ranting when the manager says, Sir, I'd love to help you get this fixed, but she doesn't work here. I can help you figure out who it was, but it wasn't her. And as this sub always goes, old guy didn't listen. No, I know it was her. I wouldn't forget that nasty face. Okay, now I'm awake and increasingly getting angrier. Well, you apparently did, because I seriously don't work here and never have. Dude's not worth my time. I give the manager a, have fun with this, look and start towards the door. This ducker threw a chair at me. A chair. It didn't hit me, but he sure did try. It got a bit fuzzy with everything going on at once, but the manager grabbed him up so fast in a bear hug and walked towards the door saying, "That's it, you're out of here. If you come back again, I'm calling the cops." That is if this lady doesn't do so first for you trying to assault her with a chair. Old guy said something about, "She turned her back to me, now let me go." Manager responded something like, "That's not how this works." Or something. Like I said, it was fast and I was still a bit out of it. Props on the manager, by the way. He got that crazy away from me, his actual employees, and the other customers, including a few children, in a matter of seconds. He pushed him out still screaming and held the door shut. Offered me all the free food in the world and told me he'd happily help me press charges. Had he left, I honestly might not have, but he was still yelling and banging on the door, so we basically had to just to get him to leave. So we call the cops to remove him. While we're waiting, manager mentions the cameras, sends back someone to pull it up so the cops can see it. Cops get there, get the old guy in cuffs and start asking what happened. Old guy lied through his teeth, saying I threw the chair and the manager assaulted him and lied about being my boss. Easy as crap to prove otherwise with the cameras. So he's in jail now for a list of charges. After one cop leaves with the old guy, another stays to get statements and all that. For a giggle, they also looked to try to figure out what cashier was apparently so horrible. There were only guys working the entire day. They couldn't even find the old guy, we're sure he never came in. As I was finally leaving, the cop looks at me and innocently asks, "You sure you don't work here?" Dude, ha ha ha, I don't know why, but I lost my crap laughing. Asked if he wanted me to show him how to teach a chair to fly, and he also lost his crap laughing. The next story is titled, Karen Recommended I Be Fired from the Dollar Store. I was in a dollar store trying to check out, but delayed because Karen was busy complaining to the cashier about the quality of the products in the dollar store. To which I said, "Karen, if you don't like the quality here, then go somewhere more upscale like Walmart. Or if you got the budget, Target." She then asked for a manager, cause that's what Karens do. Manager came, and for the next solid 2 minutes she was complaining to the manager about how her staff was very rude and suggested she should shop at Walmart or Target, how insane it is to hire staff that promotes the competition. The cashier is smirking. I'm smiling from ear to ear. Karen finishes off with, "If I was you, I'd fire such an employee." To which the manager said, "Which employee said that?" To which Karen and the cashier all pointed at me. They're standing with my Coke and a bag of chips. To which the manager goes, "Mrs. He's not an employee." To which Karen goes, "Then why is he here?" Manager looks at me and looks at her and goes, "Buying stuff?" The next story is titled, Truancy Officer Thinks I'm a HS Student. My family moved to the south after I graduated HS, so my brother had 2 years left and they do block scheduling for classes. All that means is some days he'd get out of school earlier than what we did at our old HS. I go to pick him up from school. It's a 3 hours bus ride or 15 minutes if I pick him up, one day about 1 p, and I'm waiting out in my car in the pickup area kind of near the doors. Here comes Truancy Officer. Truancy Officer. "Excuse me, miss, but school isn't out yet, you should be in class." Me. "I graduated HS already. I'm here picking up my younger brother, he gets out around 1:15 to 1:30 p. Truancy Officer. "I've seen you here before, you need to be in class. What's your name?" I show him my ID, out of state. Truancy Officer. "I know that last name, you do go here. Come inside to the office." Me. "Well, obviously brother and I would have the same last name, we're siblings." I go in because 1. I don't want to keep having this issue every time I pick him up. 2. I do need to collect brother, as we both have to go to work. Diff jobs, thank God. We make our way to the office, where Truancy Officer tells them to look up my name. Office lady. "We don't have a student by that name, we do have another student with same last name." Truancy Officer. "That's her then, she just gave me the wrong name on purpose." Office lady. "The other student is male, sir. She doesn't go here." Me. "That would be my brother, could you page him for me?" Truancy Officer. No, I've seen her here before, she goes to school here. Office lady. Sir, she doesn't go here. We have no record of any student with her name. Leave her be. Brother arrives to the office, looking confused. Brother. Hey sis, you ready to go? Truancy officer. See? She does go here. Why would she know students if she doesn't? Brother. My sister is here to pick me up from school. She isn't in the system because she is not a student. Truancy officer. But I see her every day outside. Brother turns to office lady and asks if we are okay to dip out. She says yes, so we skedaddle. As we're leaving, we can hear office lady trying to explain to truancy officer that all current students are in the system and that if he brings in one more random person that he sees outside every day, claiming they're a student, she's going to file a complaint on him. Brother. I've only been going here for a month and I already know that guy is a moron. The next story is titled, I don't work here lady. Now you owe me an apology. I was at a major electronics store known for their blue polo shirts. I just got off work at a warehouse and had a blue t-shirt on. I was in looking at movies when I heard a woman snapping her fingers right at my face and, in an angry, loud tone, "Excuse me." I slowly turned to see a middle-aged woman standing there in a pissed-off pose glaring at me. You need to go get whatever item she was looking for, from the back. It was only then I realized what has happened. I quietly replied that I didn't work there, which just set her off in a rage. Now I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was along the lines of, listen here you stupid idiot. I know you do work here. You have a blue shirt on. Why are you so ducking lazy? I am going to get you fired. Where's your manager? Now I usually don't yell at people, but something about her just pissed me off. Listen here, lady. I don't work here. Just because I'm wearing a blue shirt doesn't mean that. I am a customer. Now leave me alone. It was at that point that a real employee came over to see what the fuss was about. She saw this employee and demanded to see a manager. It was less than a minute when the manager came over to talk to her. Yes. How may I help you? The lady screamed about my incompetence and demanded I apologize to her before I was fired. I looked at the manager and shook my head. The manager looked at me in a bewildered state and said to the lady, "Ma'am, he doesn't work here. Just because he has a blue t-shirt on doesn't mean he works here. Now, I will get you an employee to help you." He turned to lead the lady to lead her away, but I wanted one thing first. Excuse me, but I want one thing first. I looked directly at the woman in the eye and said, "You owe me an apology." The woman looked around in a bewildered state. The manager looked surprised but said nothing. The woman turned to a sheepish look while mumbled her, "I'm sorry." The next story is titled, Not Even Mistaken for a Human. So, this happened about 4 years ago. I worked in data support, as fun as it sounds, for a company that was situated in the business district of my city. In that job it was extremely important to leave the building on your lunch. Not doing so meant others assumed you were having a working lunch. On lunch, I would go into the shopping areas of the city and just look around, grab something to eat and ensure I was back in work at exactly the time I needed to be and no earlier. This day I decided to go into Primark, which is a clothing store in the UK. I was casually browsing the shirts and completely in a world of my own. I must have been looking around the same area for a few minutes when I felt a presence to the right of me. Now, this isn't unusual, busy store, middle of lunchtime and a fairly tight space between the clothes rails. I get fed up of looking at the shirts, and turn to walk away, only to hear, "Oh ducking Christ." I turned to see the man that was stood close to me with a look of sheer terror in his eyes, staring at me for a moment in disbelief. This confused me, a lot. I was about to ask if everything was okay and this guy's terror turns to a relieved laugh. Covering his face and turning quite red at the scene he'd just made in a busy store, he said, "I thought you were a mannequin." The next story is titled, I'm Not Your Waitress, I'm Your Son's Girlfriend. This was something that happened a lot while ago when I first started dating my now fiancé. It came up in conversation the other day as my fiancé's best man was threatening to put it in his speech, much to the embarrassment of my soon-to-be mother-in-law. My fiancé and I met at university, many miles away from his home city. We were in some of the same classes, and romance blossomed. We'd been a couple for a few months when he said that his parents were coming to see him and wanted to meet me as well. The plan was for us to all go out for dinner together the evening they arrived. However, my boyfriend had an unmissable meeting scheduled just before we were meant to be leaving. We decided that I'd go ahead and meet them, and be interrogated, and my boyfriend would try to hurry up the meeting and go straight from there. I caught the bus into town, however it was just my luck that it broke down halfway through the journey, meaning that I was about 15 minutes behind schedule. I caught my boyfriend just before his meeting to tell him, and he passed on the message to his parents, who replied almost instantly saying that they were already in the restaurant, and gave the location of their table so I could just join them when I got there. This restaurant was fancy-ish. You definitely wear smart casual clothing to dine there, and staff were all in similar dress of white shirt, blouse, pressed trousers and smart shoes. I was wearing the smartest dress I had, that which was a dark red, definitely not uniform. I get there 10-ish minutes late and a little bit sweaty and out of breath, and spotted my boyfriend's parents. I'd seen pictures of them so I knew what they looked like, sitting on a table. I put on a "don't let them know you're nervous" smile and walked over there. This is the conversation that followed. Me. "Hi there, sorry I'm late, it's lovely to meet you." Mill. "Oh, someone's already taken our drinks order, we'll be ready to order food when the rest of our party get here." Me. "I'm not your waitress, my name, fiancé's name, girlfriend. Sorry for being late." My poor future mother-in-law turned the color of my red dress. She apologized for a good 2 minutes while my future father-in-law had a fit of the giggles. It was not the most conventional way of meeting the in-laws, but it definitely broke the ice. It wasn't brought up when my boyfriend arrived, but I mentioned it afterwards and it made him laugh too. Although it didn't have any lasting affect, my mill definitely doesn't want this announced at our wedding. The next story is titled, "No, I'm really not a nurse. I promise." While I was a massage student, my school uniform consisted of light blue scrubs with the school's logo printed on the chest, the same ones that most doctors or nurses wear. I also was unfortunate enough to have to take the bus for a good chunk of a semester. One day as I was riding home after a draining day of finals, this large example of humanity stroll onto the bus, zeroes in on me and beelines to sit next to me, on an otherwise empty bus. Normally not an issue. I figure maybe this guy has something going on where he's missing some social cues. I can tell by his odor that bathing isn't a priority or concern. Good God, that smell still haunts me. I just turn my music up a bit and move to another seat. The guy moves to sit next to me again. This time he's got me blocked next to a window so there's no escape. I console myself with the fact that it's only another 2 miles till my stop. The guy starts talking to me. I turn up the music another tiny bit. I'm trying my best to ignore the smells and sounds coming from next to me, but it's all a bit much. The guy notices I'm not paying any attention to him and taps me on the shoulder. I pull out an earbud and acknowledge him, and that's where my IDWHL starts. Smelly guy: "Hey, it's against the law to ignore patients." Me: "I'm not a doctor." Smelly guy: "Yes you are, you're in uniform." Me: "No, this is my school uniform and I'm not a doctor." Smelly guy: "Oh, you're a nurse then?" Me: "No, I'm not a doctor or a nurse. I'm just a person in a uniform going home. Have a nice day." Smelly guy: "You need to check my sores. I know you're a doctor and you can't ignore patients." Me: "No." At this point the guy lifts his shirt to expose what I can only guess are sores, infections in his mammoth fat rolls. The smells of body odor and infection are now strong enough that I'm about to toss my cookies. Smelly guy: "What's wrong with me? They itch and hurt." Me: "For the love of God. Yes. You need to see someone about that." Smelly guy: "See? You are a doctor. I knew it. I'm telling your boss you were mean to a patient." Me: "No. Does this look like a clinic? Did you have an appointment?" "No. Now get the duck away from me, you weirdo." Smelly guy: "Don't be a idiot. This is your job. Deal with it." I finally make a snap decision and dash for somewhere else by crawling over the seats in front of me to escape the smelly guy. The bus driver has calmly watched this all happen and asks me if I want off early as my stop is coming up. I take him up on the offer. While I'm walking to the exit, I hear smelly guy start to get up too, muttering about making sure that he sees where the doctor idiot goes. Bless the bus driver's heart, he did me an amazing favor that day. As I walked off the bus, I heard the driver tell him that if he tries to get off the bus here, he is calling the cops. That lady is not a doctor or nurse, and he needs to sit his fat ass down, take a goddamn shower and quit hassling people. I watched the bus pull away and was never so thankful for a long walk home. In the time I took the bus, I never heard that driver say much of anything to other passengers, let alone speak that way again to another person. The next story is titled, No, I Don't Work Here, But Neither Should You. Anyone who has ever shopped at Home Depot knows how hard it can be to find an employee to help you. If you do find one, that doesn't always mean they will know what they are talking about. I'm always at Home Depot picking up odds and ends that I've forgotten to order from the supply house for my job. I cannot believe the number of times I've overheard employees giving a customer wrong, and sometimes dangerous, information. For example, customer wants help hooking up his new hot tub. Orange-aproned idiot is explaining to customer how he just needs this standard, non-fused disconnect, meant for air conditioners, and some of that yellow wire. At this point, I had to step in. Me. Sir, do you know what amperage your tub is rated at? Customer. Shuffles the papers he was smart enough to bring with him, This says 40 amp minimum. 50 amp max. Me. That's what I thought. If you use that yellow wire, the best you can hope for is that you'll constantly be tripping the circuit. At worst, you could burn down the house. I then direct him to the correct size wire and fuse disconnect, and ask him if he has a permit for the electrical work. That's when Orange Apron, who has been following us and muttering, finally finds his voice. He doesn't need a permit. As a homeowner he can do whatever he wants. Me. Yeah, no. In this state, even homeowners are required to get permits and inspections by the local authority having jurisdiction. In this case, it's the city of less than home greater than planning department, for all electrical work. Oh, yeah? How would you know? Me. Looks down at shirt with electrical contractor I work for on it. Yeah, you're right. I've only been doing this for 20 years. What would I know? Turns back to customer. Look, you can listen to him if you want, it's your house and life. He's just trying to scare you into hiring him to do it for you. Me. Actually, I don't have the time for side jobs. And besides, I don't have a contractor's license, just a journeyman's. I can't pull permits. Have a nice day. As I'm walking away, the customer puts his items down, and tells Oa that he won't be needing them after all. The next day, I get a call from my boss. It seems he received 2 phone calls that day. The first was from a manager at Home Depot, who was complaining that I was poaching jobs in our store. After telling him what happened, he ended up calling them back and asking if it was their policy to endanger lives and property with incompetent advice. The second was from the customer, who now wanted someone from our company to come out and do it right. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.